up to the left where you want it? Yeah.
Right there is where I want it.
Like that?
Yep.
Cool.
And then where do we want to put our screws?
So we'll just build this up with some dirt here.
Another morning, we're getting a lot of work done. We've done some skirting on the front of the chicken coop, and we decided to use metal roofing that we cut into 2-foot pieces. The whole entire section we did here was 20 feet. So we're gonna do this metal skirting on the front. We're also gonna do it on the back. I'm not sure what we're gonna do on the sides of the chicken coop yet, but we're trying to keep the chickens from going underneath the coop. We did the insulation under the floor a couple days ago. We used foam board insulation. For some reason, our chickens, they just love to eat it. It's the weirdest thing. So we don't want them destroying it. And also we're trying to keep predators from coming underneath there and going into their run. We're trying to keep it a little warmer, preventing wind from going under there. So it turned out pretty good. We did the brown metal to match the roof. We've got a bunch more cut. We're gonna start working on the backside. There we go. Well, it's been a long time coming, but we're finally getting to use the shop as an actual workspace today. We're gonna be welding up the hoops that we're gonna use for the chicken run, but first I wanted to show you something pretty cool over here. We did a sealer on our concrete about, I don't know, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and check this out, it's the craziest thing. This water's from the rain last night, and look. It literally just like brushes away with your hand. It's like the coolest thing. So it worked really well. We also put a bunch of caulking in our relief joints. So those are the cuts we did inside the shop here. And I think we went through like 7 tubes of concrete caulking. So we got that all done. Let's start working on these arches. We're gonna be using 10 of the arches from the old hoop house to build the outdoor chicken run, and when we built this before, it was just held together by like metal roofing screws. We wanted a little bit stronger this time, so I'm gonna use the welder and I'm gonna weld where the 2 pieces connect, and then we'll bring them over and we're gonna start building it, and we're gonna weld it right here along the seam. I'm trying to not weld on the top because I don't want it to be sharp up there, so I'm gonna try to get the sides and the bottom. We are welding galvanized steel. We're outside, we got good airflow. I'm gonna wear a mask, hopefully things go all right. The greenhouse, even when it was just screwed together, it was extremely strong, so I think that this is just gonna be like an awesome structure. We got 10 to do. Let's get started on her. Well, let's just put them on the tractor forks, right? All of them? We'll bring them over there. Looks good. To be right in between that window.
In the middle.
Okay, so that's...
Is that the middle?
That's the center of our windows. I'm the one looking at the coop. Okay, we're ready to get going here. What we're gonna do on this, it's kind of a little bit different than the high tunnel. The high tunnel, we just pounded them into the ground and we put the hoops in. This one, we're gonna go below grade a little bit and we're gonna do some hardware cloth. That way an animal, I don't know, marten, fox, or a lynx, they can't really dig underneath. So we're gonna dig out a trench. I don't know how deep I'm gonna go. Maybe till I hit gravel, maybe about a foot. We're gonna do it on each side and we'll start putting these hoops in. We'll see how it works out.
So I think I've said this before, but anytime Eric's using like an excavator arm, he's got this huge smile on his face.
See how much of a...
It's gonna be a little bit.
This is not gonna work.
Dig a deeper hole, put your stuff in and then backfill it.
It literally went in like an inch. There's so much rock in here, you know what I mean? Okay. Started at a foot, now we're at 4 feet.
Hopefully Ruru comes. Chickens!
Oh my gosh, I was about to take flight. Where's he at?
There you go.
And which way?
We were saying I'll just make it more rigid.
Yeah, because it's like deeper down in that thicker metal, you know what I mean? 38 feet.
Didn't come down that much. Is it okay it's bending it?
That's what happened.
Last time? Well, we messed up on account of me. Our trenches are askew. So we have to do some more tractor work. We got the chickens in for the night, but we still have a little more light to work. Unfortunately, we are losing that midnight sun. We don't have a lot of light anymore into the night. So we're gonna try and get the trenches fixed. I think our measurements are good as far as like our diagonal. That took us a really long time to get straight. But once that's all good, and once these posts are in, then we can really start rocking on the hoop house and get the chicken run kind of structure enclosed.
So we're trying to get all of our posts that we got in the ground completely level. And to do that, we started with the laser level. We marked all 4 corners the exact same height, and then we used string connecting the 2 edges. And then we went along with a Sharpie and put a little mark. It's really hard to get these at the exact same level, like pounding them into the ground. Some of them will pound into the ground an inch. Some of them will pound in a foot. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut them all the exact same height, and then we'll be able to get our arches in and decide how deep into these pipes they're gonna go. Original plan was to use our concrete gas-powered saw to cut these, and I was just gonna slice right through them, but unfortunately the blades I have for that, they're for our chop saw, and they're the wrong blade. So we're gonna use the little angle grinder. Hopefully this don't take us too long. Let me know when you get to your line. You get what I'm saying, to your line?
Yeah, I'll let you know. Is it even? Do we just both have to go down like half an inch, or
I
is
would
it
say
even?
if we went...
Mine's a hair past the black line. It wants to go further. You know, it will slip further if I let it.
Just leave it, it's fine. Okay, where are you at on your thing? Okay, come my way, push it my way some more. Keep coming. Okay, right there.
Looks good. It looks strong.
I don't think I can monkey bar this far. Believe me, it's stronger than it was at our old place. It's not only strong, it doesn't go, it's mostly strong like side to side, you know what I mean? Like, it's very strong. Oh, it's pulling the coop, look at that. Well, this thing has turned out absolutely awesome, and it's going to be plenty strong for a chicken run. And what we have here is 2 10-foot sections of top rail. Those make up this big hoop we have here, and top rail is for chain link fencing. If you ever look at a chain link fence, there's a little railing across the top. That's this size right here. And then down here on the bottom, this is a little bigger diameter, and this is the actual post that a chain link fence will use. It just so happens that the top rail slides perfectly in there. So we've got that welded on, and then up top we've got the ridge pole, I guess we'll call it. This is all welded on, and over here we have some wind bracing, and I'm not sure that we actually need this, but I'm gonna put it on because I have it and we built it for this structure. So these go something like one there, and then you'll put one here. All it does is it kind of ties everything in together a little more, so when this pushes, it gets support from here, and then when this pushes, it gets support from there. That's basically just for high wind, and it might help us out a little bit with snow load. So I'm gonna get these welded on, and then we're gonna roll out some of our hardware cloth, and we're gonna see if we can start on that tonight.
Yes, they were opposite.
Like,
that's exactly how they go.
Like that right there. It should fit over almost.
It's 8 feet?
It's 7.5, I think.
Oh, okay. Wow. Nice sound.
Pretty cool. Really good.
I think it looks lovely.
To the chickens. All right, let's move on.
Well, this looks amazing. I didn't know it was going to be this beautiful. I'm very intrigued and allured by this structure here. This is the framework for the chicken run. We are going to have it completely covered. We really took our time kind of deciding how we wanted to do this chicken run. We knew we wanted to take into consideration snow, so covered space, but also shade in the summer since it gets so hot here. And Eric came up with this genius idea to use the high tunnels, so I think it's going to work out absolutely awesome. Moving on from metal, we've been doing a lot of metal work and concrete, to some wood. So we're going to be building a deck for the chickens over here, back against the actual coop, and that's because the chickens they gravitate towards decks and the underspace. We have already closed off the run, so they're not going to be able to go underneath there anymore. Back at the other place, we had a coop that they could go underneath all winter, so we want to make sure that they definitely have adequate porch space, we'll call it. We're pulling wood from the quaking aspen tree that we cut down earlier. We have some scrap wood that was left behind when we bought the property. We have a bunch of wood from the concrete forms from the Quonset hut build, and then we also have some wood siding when we were building our little beams for our sawmill. So we're going to be using a lot of just random wood that we have around here to make the structures in here and make this all happen. Okay?
Yep.
Gotcha. Man, what a cool idea, hon.
Like it?
I love it.
Want some more of it?
I don't think it's so...
I need to grab my square.
Okay, you can check this. Please.
We're gonna have to do something with it. Either cut them up or pound them in. I would just pound them in at an angle and put them on the inside. So we need to go one. Hold on, you want to be an inch from your bar, right? No, we're not gonna need bolts.
It's just chickens, too. Do what, hon?
I drilled through this and the metal with the drill bit.
That's strong. Good idea.
This one didn't want to hit it. It was like too far.
If we get to October and there's still mosquitoes, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't work very fast, do I, hon? They like it real short like that. You won't be able to reach into there and grab them.
I know. Don't stretch.
It's good that's dirt there, though. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now it won't move.
Do you want me to get the level out, too?
Okay, that's not.
Change
It's
can.
very sturdy, way sturdier than our shower.
Did you say way sturdier than the shop?
No, than our shower, our old shower we built. It's like extremely sturdy. For a chicken deck, it'll do. Deck complete.
We have to get the tree in there at some point because otherwise it'll get too tricky. But we can do this now.
Yeah, no.
How can I help? Right here.
Oh, here we go. I'm good now.
We can tap it in too, the sledgehammer.
So yours has to go up to that line.
Oh, it needs
Check
to?
your lever real quick. Right there.
Oh, it is? Leave it where it's at?
Yeah. So if I can weld my tabs on there real quick.
I guess it's getting kind of angry.
Oh!
2 seconds over.
I love the sweatshirt.
Sorry, I saw all this
Yesterday was a productive day, I'm telling you. So things were just flying out here. It was one of those days where everything was just going our way. We got the deck completely done. That tree that is sitting there is going to be some sort of roost that Arielle's going to build in here. So we got to trim that up a little bit. But the cage, we're going to call it, is turning out awesome. And what we use for the cage up here is for concrete. So this is the same stuff we use when we poured the concrete slab for the 𝐋𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐻𝐿𝐻 hut. It's called welded wire reinforcement. I don't know the exact gauge, but it's pretty thick. It's comparable to like a hog panel or a cattle panel. These are 6-inch squares. We welded it over the whole entire hoop. It's just really strong. It's really secure for the chickens now. And we started working on the end wall late last night. We kind of got rained out. But down on the bottom, the first thing we did was we put in some pressure treated wood. We did 2x6s that we sandwiched together. So we kind of got like a beam. And part of this is gonna go below grade along with the whole rest of the hardware cloth on the outside of the run. That's to kind of keep predators from digging in. And this time around, when we're building this structure compared to the greenhouse, we are doing a lot of welding. So you notice I have like these little tabs welded on here, and these are going to be to kind of connect everything together. So we'll run another 2x4 from here to there, and we'll be able to drill it into this tab and then drill it into the wood. Last time we built this structure, we were drilling holes in the top rail and kind of trying to drill into 2x4s and stuff like that. It wasn't that strong. This is working out a lot better. We did it on this bottom beam, and it's just extremely secure. And then we built, I guess this would be called like a header. We built this one out of angle iron, and this connected our door frame. We're gonna go with like a traditional size door. We're gonna do about 36 inches. We wanna be able to get in and out of here, clean the coop, bring a wheelbarrow in here, whatever. We don't want any issues with a little tiny door. The plan is this whole entire thing is gonna be enclosed, but right now we have more work to do on the end wall. A lot of holes, huh?
Right in the middle.
Pretty solid area. Get one at the bottom here and then just...
I wonder if you should. I may need to. What are you hitting? What am I hitting over here? Like this?
So our main thing would be getting that top.
Oh, I'm hitting the ground. Ah, you got my sweater.
Our piles.
Oh yeah, we've got all those dirt piles. There it is. All right, we finally got some leveling off completed in here. We put gravel around all the wire and the frame just to prevent animals from digging, and then we kind of made sure the land looks good with the soil because the chickens like the soil. So all in all, this thing is so secure. I feel very confident we can leave the chickens in it, you know, if we were to go away for a few days or a week or something like that, and we can come back and have chickens when we get back. I don't know if you can tell this from the videos, but we have been able to free range the chickens pretty much all summer, which is not something I was personally expecting. There are a lot of predators in the forest, and it just doesn't seem to be too much of an issue here, and we really have not had any issues at all with aerial predators. So back at the old place, hawks were an issue there. This enclosure should definitely protect them from like owls, hawks, lynx, you know, coyotes, fox, pretty much anything I can think of. And it should even work for some of the smaller guys like minks or martens are the other little small ones we have running around. And beyond this structure, we're going to always have the poultry netting. So we can put that out in the summer months. It's going to collapse in the winter, so we have to take it down. But that is an extra security because animals do not like to be zapped. So we have never had a breach of that fence. It's done a great job for us all summer. But a few weeks back, we did have an incident. It was actually kind of a bigger thing that happened. So when Eric and I were building our 𝐒𝐢𝐬𝐻𝐸 hut, we had earplugs on and multiple generators running, things like that. So we weren't really around the chickens. They free range, and what we do is we just do like a count at the end of the day to make sure we're not missing anybody. But that particular night was a very late night, and I did notice that we were missing some birds, but I just told myself, you know what, they're probably under the coop, they're probably somewhere, I'm not gonna worry about it. It was 11 p.m. and the next day I realized that we were in fact missing some birds, and it wasn't just some, it was quite a bit. So we were down 10 birds that next day, and what had happened was a fox found our birds during the day. You can imagine a fox when it gets into chickens, and it's like he or she got his hands in the cookie jar. Took us like a good 24 hours to really realize what had happened. I thought for sure the fox had made it into the coop at night, because we were down, by that 24-hour period, we were down 13 birds. So we lost a lot in a very short amount of time, and that has never happened to us with the fox. Usually they just take one and leave and then come back a little bit later for another one. But this one was able to get a lot of our babies, and I think that's what made it so easy for it. Eric and I didn't hear anything at all during the day, of course. The grass is tall, the fox is sneaky, and our chickens don't make any sort of sound when the fox came in, which was a little bit surprising for us. Now, something like that is just, it just happens. We have chickens, we like to let them free range. I feel like they have the most fun out there. They get to eat bugs all day. So definitely that's just something that can happen. And this is going to be a really secure thing for us in the future going forward. It's also going to be an awesome like arena covered space for them, to give them just plenty of area to exercise if they are locked in this area. I know it may not look like we have less birds, but we do. So that's what's been going on. That happened probably about 5 weeks ago. So we still have to finish the end wall. We've got to get the door built. We need a door, and we're working on that next.
Right in the center.
What I go is more by girth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The only thing cooler.
Here we go again. This is going to be the door for the chicken run. It's pretty unique, and when we do projects, Arielle has her ideas, I have mine. Sometimes they're the same, sometimes they're not. So this is Arielle's idea, and it's turned out pretty cool so far. These are all just leftover slab pieces from when we were cutting some beams over on the sawmill. So our door is 36 inches. Somehow we got these cut pretty close. We're at 35 3/4 of an inch, which should leave us enough room to open and close the door. We're gonna skin these or peel them. We're gonna use a draw knife, and then also this little spade tool right here. I think this is for, it's a 4-inch chopper scraper. I sharpened it. See how it does on the bark.
Man. Really don't know whose idea this was. I think it was yours. 62 hours later, eh?
Something like that.
2? Sorry. 3, 4, 5.
Don't do it with your feet. I'm trying to be very careful here.
Okay. I'm happy with it.
Well, let me get my arm back. Okay. Oh, gosh.
fingers. Those are my fingers. Are you on the shim here, hon?
Hopefully.
Wow. I don't want to like hold my breath or anything. You know what you could totally do? I would just cut those.
Cut those right there. Yeah, you just have a hand. They're holding up nice. Put her handle.
Honestly, I would cut them, or can you bend them? You probably can't bend them now.
You just tap them with a hammer, they probably bend. Nice handle right there.
Nice.
Wonder how much it'll absorb since they're kind of green logs, you know?
I was thinking that they're kind of wet. You can always hit it next year. I was just gonna let this start real quick because I don't want to be talking about it's blowing like that. We're switching things up this morning because I need to address our beehive. We need to get them ready for winter. It's something I've kind of been putting off. I should have probably done this last week. So I'm just getting our smoker going. I've got some of Eric's shorts that had a slit a little too high, if you know what I mean. So we're gonna get over there and open them up and get them ready for winter. Hopefully not too spicy today. It's been about a month since I have checked our bees. They are not taking any more feed at this point, which is great because they're getting ready for winter. They have been bringing in a surprising amount of pollen though. When I come out here on a warm day, I can see them coming in with a bunch of pollen. And I know that they're getting ready for winter too because they are kicking out the male bees or the drones or these big chubby bees. They are no longer needed for their services, so the girls basically like kick them to the curb to get ready for winter. I wonder if I can grab this. They look good. This is a strong hive, and this will be their third winter if we can get them to overwinter, which really, I don't know if that's going to happen. We're going to try, but we'll see. They look really good. What a bees. Eric and I switched the top box from the sugar water that I was feeding them to this winter feed, and we kind of changed our plan once we got out here. The hive is very big. I can tell that they're doing really well. We've got a good queen. She's done well all summer. I actually had to watch this hive for swarming. Their numbers are really awesome in there. There's 2 mediums on the bottom, and I'm guessing they're packed full with bees, and the top one I can tell has a bunch of honey in it. It looks like it's all capped. So I really didn't have to go in there and disrupt them. We're taking a little bit of a gamble. We're going to try this year just leaving them be the way that they are already have decided to set their hive up. And this top box is going to function as extra food for them. So they will eat their own sugar water that they've stored or their honey. And when they run out of food, they usually do in the spring months, they can pull from this sugar that we packed into there. It's probably about 13 pounds of sugar with maybe like 2 cups of water, and we just push it into this box. We're trying a new thing this year though. Usually we use a wooden box, and it makes more sense to use foam. So this is not my idea, and we're using a foam box. One of their foam boxes, we lined it with some foam, And I think all in all, that's just gonna be way better for insulation. Before we use like an open screen, and I thought about it, and that was a lot more airspace above the bees that they needed to keep warm in the winter. So we are just changing it up entirely. This is what we're gonna call our candy board, and we are omitting the quilt box. We used to have another box on top that would be to help with ventilation, but again, more space for the bees to heat up. So we're really just kind of trying to trap all that heat in there with them this winter. Oh yeah, that works really good. We've got our 2 more pieces of foam in here that we already pre-cut to fit, and we also left like a little slip to be able to pull it out since it's so snug. We're gonna get the cap on, and we're going to be wrapping everything with some house wrap this year to minimize some of that air movement, and then we're gonna be putting some more foam on. So really, they're gonna have a really thick outer shell.
Go up a little
You
more.
can always push it this way a little bit.
They're gonna go up a tiny bit because.
What's up? Yeah, yours needs to go up. Perfect. That should be perfect, honey.
Something like that.
That'll be perfect. That's about it for out here. We have got 2-inch foam surrounding the hive, and then we have a few layers on the top, as you can tell. And Eric went ahead and put like a little piece of foam underneath the hive because I have like a screen bottom board, so it's open and it allows quite a bit of airflow in. We've never done that before. And then this year we did not get any of these little foam boards in. They are just like extra insulation in the hive if there's room, but being that I didn't take apart the hive and they're so big, I really don't even think there would have been room. But usually I just slip these on the sides, so the outsides of the frames. There's a lot of things to consider every year when we try to get these bees ready for winter. Not just, you know, having like a healthy hive and making sure they have enough food, but also can they, you know, keep the moisture under control in there? Can they regulate their heat? And the intensity of the winter, that also plays into it. We hope for the best, but we never really know what's gonna happen. And it always amazes me too, how long they're in the hive. So they're really locked up for probably 6 to 7 months because they, you know, we shut them down in middle of September, although honestly, I haven't been in here for about a month. And then we do not really reopen the hive until April. So they're in this box for these boxes for a very long time. They've got to go through winter just like the rest of us. The only other thing we have to add is a windbreak. So this year we're going to be putting maybe some like plywood to encase this, not the front, so they can still come out if they need to, but we want to make sure that there's not too much wind hitting the hive. We'll see if it works, but in the meantime, we need to get back to work on the chicken coop.
Cool. Cut them. That's perfect, just like that.
Oh, you want it like that?
Mm-hmm.
Just right over the
Just
edge?
get the bottom.
Is that...
Overlap one ridge.
But then do you really want this, just a small piece?
Over a little more. This time I have to go right there. Right there.
Like this and then spin it or something.
Gotta lift up.
Like here?
Yeah, just get underneath there and try to, right?
Okay. What happened?
Apparently the little grommets aren't very strong on it.
Did you just rip one? Okay, give me a second. Let me see if I can try and yank it up for you. It's like really dark in there.
Oh, you're ready. Pull down your. There you go.
How am I on my side? I got like a foot.
Go through the grommet. There you go, lower or higher?
Right there.
Okay, now come back through my side. Hold on a second. Hold on. So it's here. So let's start with those.
Okay.
And then start with the first one. Do that a little. Just a little pressure, not crazy. Just a little.
Yeah,
hook
not
it in the
much.
hardware cloth.
Oh, we just need a storm.
Ready?
You ready?
Yep.
Okay. Got it.
Just make sure we don't lose the top in the meantime. Well, we're done. Well, kind of. We ran into some issues. We'll get to those a little bit later. But this is the covering for the chicken coop. Compared to plastic, which was on this thing, this is a huge upgrade. So this is basically a tarp, but it's made out of canvas. They come in different thicknesses. This is one of the thicker ones. It's been treated to protect against the sun, to make it waterproof, and to protect against mold. And this thing, no joke, folded up, it probably weighs about 80 to 100 pounds. So it's just this very heavy, thick material. We did bust a grommet down here, which is pretty unfortunate. I mean, it's a corner one, they're reinforced. I was pulling it over there with that winch cable as hard as I could, so that's probably why it broke, but I thought it was gonna be a little bit stronger than that. On to why this didn't work exactly how we wanted. So originally we were gonna do 2 tarps, so we have 2 of them. We're gonna overlap them. This is kind of like the size they came in. We're gonna go all the way down here to right here, and that was gonna be their cover. But come inside and let me show you the problem. So I don't know if you can tell from the camera, but it is extremely dark in here, and that's with that huge like front section open. So if we were gonna cover this thing completely with 2 tarps, it was just gonna be like pitch black in here. We don't want that for the chickens. We are gonna put some lights in here for the wintertime, but that's gonna be later on. So what we're gonna do, I believe, is we're gonna use some sort of plastic roofing material, kind of like this, and we're gonna be covering this about 8-foot section with it, and it's going to be kind of like a sunroom on the front of this. Give them a little more light, still provide protection, snow coverage. We want this area to be like snow-free, rain-free. That way the chickens in the winter have somewhere to go. They have dirt that they can dust bathe in. We pretty much have the tarp fastened down how it's going to go. We have metal zip ties on the coop end, and then we have bungees kind of pulling it down and forward. We're gonna kind of have to do it a little bit different once we put the roofing in on this side, but we don't have any roofing, so that's gonna wait until a later date. All in all, this chicken coop build has taken a while, and I'm pretty pumped with how this thing turned out.
Oh no, I'm starting a fire, Eric.
Are you going the right way?
No. Damn. This is why I should stay away from power tools. It's probably gonna freeze. About like 2 more weeks, what do you think?
Not even.
Because the adults are going to be locked in here, only the babies are going to be able to get out. We're wrapping up shop just in time for the chickens to go to bed. It's getting dark here. And like Eric said, it is a little dark in there, but that's the kind of the compromise of not wanting to cook your chickens in the summer. So I know once it's lighted up, it's going to be fantastic. Overall, I'm like bamboozled by this thing. I am thrilled that we can get to, I think we're gonna be able to get some panels and we'll be able to see this really cool framework. I was kind of sad that we were gonna have to cover it all up with the canvas. Eric worked really hard on it. It looks awesome. I know it's gonna serve its function for being really sturdy and predator proof for the most part. We're not completely done with things on the inside. We're just adding little touches, little perches and stuff like that. Their feed and waters. And we didn't mention it before, but this location was very specifically picked, and the orientation of the coop and the run. The windows that we put in earlier to that coop, they let in so much sunlight and it heats up that entire chicken coop. And this is also facing south with the clear portion facing directly south. So we should be able to harvest the teeny tiny bit of light we get in the winter for the chickens, and that should make a world of a difference for them. We're done for now, but there's still more to do on this coop, and we'll see you on the next one.